G'day fellas. Welcome to an updated tier list for the United States immigrants. When I did the initial immigrants tier list, that was based on a very small amount of sample data that we had. Things have now moved on, and we've got a much larger amount of games that have played. The meta has begun to develop, and I'm pretty satisfied about where we think the immigrants are. If you're watching this on YouTube at the moment, I encourage you, head over to Twitch, because at 18 GMT today, we're going to be having the finals of Knushelbar versus either Samwise or Kaiser Klein. At this point in time, I don't know who actually gets through. It's going to be the $2,000 table topper. It's going to be on the Elite Gaming Twitch channel, so I encourage you, head over to that. I'll leave a link down in the description for that one, but other than that, let's get into it. So we're going to look at the bottom of the list first, and then we'll work our way up. So this is going to be based on the meta of the games that I've experienced so far at the top of the table. So at the bottom of the list, definitely the British immigrants. They have not changed from the D tier. They are still at the bottom. I would say just very slightly above them is probably the German immigrants. The German immigrants, I've seen them only ever used once or twice. I think that their builds are a little bit too slow, and at the moment, the Fast Fortress build orders are definitely taking a bit of precedence over them. Now, one of the interesting factors was the Russian-American company. Now, this card previously would have been placed in, I think it's C tier, but this card, in my opinion, this card is now actually really strong because of the way that the meta has unfolded, and it's actually become an S tier card. So just to talk a little bit about this card and the kind of build order that we see at the moment. So what we see with this card is that this card here allows you to take map control, and it gives you an economic bonus. So what it does is you can have a single barracks when you edge up to the fortress age, and then from there, you can send this card, and you've now got 3 barrackses that are also both, well, 2 of them are outposts. They're also shipment points. You can call Minutemen from them. They train units. Like, the list goes on about how great they are, and they can, your villagers can gather garrison inside them. So I feel like, you know, I'm using this in almost every single game I'm playing. It's an incredibly important card in your deck, and you can use it instead of refrigeration. You can use it with refrigeration if you want to go super greedy, which is something that I, as a greedy player, absolutely love to do. So in my opinion, this is definitely an S tier pick. Now, just because the meta is trending towards Fast Fortress for the United States, and especially semi-fast Fortress, so whether that's a batch of 5 cav, whether that's a batch of 10 muskets or 10 regulars, or whether that's just a direct Fast Fortress. So you can do a different type of Fast Fortress depending on which immigration card you want to go. But there's one that's being more popular recently, so we're going to talk about that one. So the next card that I would be advocating for to be in the S tier is the French immigrants. Now, the French immigrants, I think I had them initially in the A tier. They're now the S tier. It's mandatory every single game. You just send French immigrants as your first card. So you chop 100 wood, you drop a house down, and then you've got 200 wood left because you chopped the first 100, and you're sending the French immigrants as your first card. It's an incredibly strong card. It's 3.75 standard villages, 3 Cour de Bois. I know I'm not pronouncing that right. I read a beautiful comment on YouTube the other day saying, I love it when Drongo says Cour de Bois because it sounds like, what does he say, like heart of the woods, something like that in French. So Cour de Bois, there you guys go. So previously, this card would have been in A tier just because, you know, I wasn't sure whether it was going to be used instead of the bank wagon, but it seems that it's in a league of its own almost in that regard, and that's why it sits in the S tier along with the Russian American company, because it's a card that is just really strong, very versatile, and is used in all situations. But at the same time, the Russian American company is also one of those cards. So the next one. The bank. Now, the bank is, it's hard for me to put it in either S or A. I'm honestly thinking it might be A, and that's just because at the moment, one of the strategies that I'm thinking that's not really hit the meta, okay, is 3 Cour de Bois into Irish. Okay, so the Irish immigrants at 4 minutes 21 gives you 4 settlers. Okay, and then you can send 700 coin directly after that. It allows you to get up much faster, allows you to get a trading post in transition, and by doing this build order, it guarantees that you're up on time, you're up, it's about 15 to 20 seconds faster than with the bank wagon, and you really don't lose a lot. especially because you're going to be shipping. Now, you got to remember, okay, this compounds with this because you get the 30% extra bonus. So it might be controversial, but in my mind right now, I've got the bank in the A tier. The bank technically is the greedier option, but I say that with acknowledging that Irish is potentially going to be meta as well. So I'm going to be putting Irish in the A tier. We can't have everything up in the S tier. I really would love to have everything up in the S tier. And then, so that leaves us with the remaining cards. So I think there's still some strategies that are unfound with these two cards. At the moment, you may be aware there's a little bit of a bug that is happening with the Chinese immigrants. So essentially what happens is you will call Chinese immigrants.
That's a bloody outrage, it is. I want to take this all the way to the Prime Minister.
We've got A's11 coming in with 80 viewers. A's, I hope you had a great stream, mate. We're just taking a brand new look at the tier list for the immigrants. We're doing a reassessment of the situation at the moment. And at the moment, I'm explaining why each immigrant is where it is and what's different. So just to continue on from where we were, the Chinese immigrants at the moment, it's a little bit difficult because I genuinely think this could be a really good card, but the problem is the trading post wagons don't go into the trading post sockets. You really have to fiddle with them. The very first game I had with it was very troubling, but every subsequent game it's been pretty good. But my fear is that it's just not going to be strong enough because you can drop a trading post in transition. You know, one trading post is normally enough. You're going to have mitigating returns on every subsequent trading post that you do drop down. And I'm sure on maps like New England or Central Plains, you could be able to probably claim the entire trading post line by like 5 or 6 minutes just with this card. But I think for that very reason, it kind of remains in here that at the moment it's not viable. Once those bugs do get fixed, I'm sure that more strategies will be developed. You know, it'll see its way pushed up. But I think for the meantime, it's definitely something that will just remain in the B tier. I've also seen A's using this card in conjunction with the Spanish immigrants. So Spanish immigrants, the Spanish immigrants, I think they're a little bit underrated, but I think that's mainly because they're undiscovered. I think they almost go hand in hand with the Chinese just because you can really get that XP trickling in quite fast. But one of the so people are asking in the chat, what's the bug? So the bug is, I'll just go in and show you exactly what that bug looks like. So essentially what happens is if you put your trading post down like this, if you're not watching it, it won't go in. And the wagon won't always go in, but that bug prevents it from being really strong because you can spend a lot of time having to do that. And as a result, it means it's not as strong as it could be. Once that bug is fixed, it's going to be good. And at the moment, that's what's preventing it from being, you know, top tier. And so interjection also mentioning that so the German immigrants, which are in the C tier at the moment, can be used as a late game economic theory. So economic theory are obviously giving you that 10% eco. So with the German immigrants, once you reach the industrial age, you are going to be able to build 5 settler wagons, so it's something that's going to enable you to do that. But typically, when you reach the late game, you're probably going to have 4 or 5 mills built up anyway. So if you have this card, it's equivalent to a guaranteed 8 or 10 additional settlers that you would have on top of your normal settlers. So they don't count to the villager count; they are separate. So that is something that you can have on top of it. I still don't particularly think it's strong, especially when you compare it to the cards that are up here. But anyway, getting back to the Spanish immigrants, if we were to consider the Spanish immigrants on the tier list, I would say they're probably also in the B tier. I know that I've seen A's doing quite a couple of interesting strategies with the pikemen, especially early aggressive strategies. But one of the things that we are seeing with the meta is that it is trending towards this age 3 race, and these cards here are the top cards for achieving that, whether you go the Coureur de Bois into the bank wagon or the Coureur de Bois into the Irish immigrants. The idea is that you get the 4 Irish immigrants out, and then from there you can flex up to the factory and then eventually into Russian American company. Then you're getting 30% food increased or gather rate increase on those 4 villages as well. So definitely something to consider. So we can take a look at chat, see what chat are saying. A lot of times USA is still on 40 to 50 vils when reaching industrials. Yeah, so I'm just seeing Garges in the chat at the moment. Why is Brit so bad? I mean, I guess reasonably you probably could work this into a deck. I don't think this is going to be fast enough of a card for you to really get it. Once you hit the 4th age, you're going to be wanting to send much bigger cards than that. Your priorities like you're going to have 3 town centers left over from your boom in age 3. And then when you hit age 4, you're still going to have those 3 town centers, and you're probably going to be able to boom off those. I don't think there's anything that sort of needs you to rush up your settler count. You're going to be investing a lot of resources into these villages. Obviously, they're going to pay back incredibly quickly, but they're not going to be able to do a whole lot. But, I mean, you've got a lot of important cards that you still probably need to send, a lot of upgrades, especially as you head towards the late game. So I would probably be avoiding sending it. Gaiax saying you can have all villages at 17 minutes and faster with the mana card. Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, if your opponent is seeking to challenge you and you've just invested, 5,000 food into villages, it's going to be difficult. I'll say that much. We've got A's 11 in the chat at the moment. He did obviously just pull that big raid through. A's is one of the big meta setters. Definitely, I would be keen to hear what his thoughts are on the tier list. A's, if you're listening right now, let me know. Would you agree that it looks something like this? Would you change anything? Is there anything that looks particularly wrong?
Hey, Gus! I got something to report to you.
Got interjection converting from a Prime Gaming sub to a tier 1 sub interjection. Thank you very much. A's 11 saying, it's fine. I don't like Spanish immigrants anymore. Russia, I might put in A tier. There you go. I'm happy to agree with A's. For anybody who doesn't know, A's at the moment on the ladder is, what rank are you, A's? Rank 2? Maybe rank 1? Not home city. We want to go into multiplayer. Oh, don't worry, A's. I'm not going to ask where you, oh my god, A's, where did you go? Yeah, A's. A's, what happened? A's was like rank 2. All right, I guess A's has been playing the United States. For anybody wondering, how's the balance for the United States? They're a little bit on the weaker side. All right, well, I think it's time that we head over to the Tabletopper. For anybody watching this back on YouTube, I encourage you to head over. If you haven't already, 18 GMT is when that starts, and it'll be on the 18th of April. So if you're watching this on the 18th of April at 18 GMT, then I encourage you to come across and see Canushal Bear play up against the winner of Samwise and Kaiser Klein. We're about to go find out exactly who won, so let us go do that indeed.